Is anyone still willing to work? Half of the people who answered the survey are thinking about giving up late-night emails, so leaving quietly seems to be the norm these days. Ignoring those who are subtly leaving is a bad move. Quiet quitters are employees that refuse to go above and beyond, take on extra work, and participate in the hustle culture of doing anything more than bare minimum. It's already having an effect on our economy. For example, the US just had its biggest annual loss ever. 1 in every 4 workers has already left quietly, and word is getting out, with millions of views on TikTok, articles, and blogs. Welcome to Financial Fluence. In this video, I'll tell you why 25% of workers just quit their job. Let's now get going. The phrase quiet quitting has been around for well over a decade, but it gained steam recently as a result of a famous TikTok that suggested that even if you aren't quitting your job, you are quitting the idea of going above and beyond. You still do what you have to do, but you no longer agree with the hustle culture's idea that life should be about work and that worth is not based on how much you do. Since then, the concept of discreetly departing and performing the necessary tasks has grown in popularity, drawing criticism from both employers who think that their staff members lack motivation and employees who think they are working too hard for too little pay. The average worker is productive for only 2 hours and 53 minutes out of an 8-hour day, despite the fact that the majority of workers follow the same traditional 9-to-5 schedule. In fact, a study of 2,000 full-time office workers discovered that workers spend more time reading news, checking social media, discussing non-work-related things with coworkers, and looking for new jobs than they do actual work. For those who work from home, this is fantastic because in theory, you should be able to complete an entire day's worth of tasks in a fraction of the time while working without an angry boss looking over your shoulder. However, things aren't looking good for everyone else, and employee productivity is declining. This is also related to Parkinson's law, which states that your work expands to cover the time available for completion. In other words, the longer you have to do something, the longer it will take. The difficulty appears to be that businesses want to get the most out of their employees for the least amount of money, while employees want to get the most out of their employers for the least amount of effort, which brings us to today. To begin with, the vast majority of people want the flexibility to work from home. In fact, 1 out of every 4 potential home buyers would choose to stay in their new home and find a new career if forced to return to work. Also, 30% of the 10,000 employees surveyed said they were more productive and interested in their jobs when they worked from home, and they saved an average of 40 minutes a day by not having to commute. With labor scarcity and a robust economy, employees are looking for less work. Employees now have the opportunity to look for a job that is similar, if not more, but with less responsibility, so they are taking it. Next, because they value professional advancement, many are doing the bare minimum and quitting. And before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and turn on the notification bell to be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Let's return to the video now. It's been found that 80% of people who are thinking about quitting their job are worried about moving up in their field. Almost 75% feel the pandemic has compelled them to rethink their skill sets. On average, workers who switch professions are able to negotiate better terms with higher compensation, and that's why they're migrating. And then companies are simply becoming more competitive. Employers in 2022 have begun to pay more, offer better conditions, and provide more flexibility, which means that those who stay with the same company are frequently overlooked by the newly hired employee. At the moment, it seems that doing your job is the most common way to quit without being noticed. Give only what is required and put your life ahead of responding to emails beyond 5 p.m. Now that I work for myself and for someone else, I understand the attractiveness of being able to clock out and be done for the day. After all, there's an old proverb that says you should act your wage, or just perform what's required for the salary you're given, which is totally appropriate in my opinion, and you shouldn't be punished if you're doing your work effectively. In fact, in my experience, meeting someone's expectations makes you feel almost like a ghost, and all of your efforts go unnoticed because there is an equal exchange of value. When you spend $1 on a normal cookie at a cookie store, you get what you expect, and they receive what they're worth. But what if the same cookie company also offered exceptional customer service, a friendly environment, a rewards program, and a tiny incentive to visit it? Because they went above and beyond, you are much more likely to tell other people about them and buy from them again. In my opinion, the same is true for you and your work. Going above and beyond is often the best way to gain attention, advance in your career, and make more money. If you accomplish this, you will create a lasting impact and stand out from the throng. Also, it acts as a safety net in case of a severe recession with a lot of layoffs. Recessions, whether we like it or not, usually cause the whole economy to shrink, which means people lose their jobs. Even though it is simple to leave your job unnoticed, the jobless rate has never fallen below 3.5% for more than a year since 1955. With a discreet exit, your work-life balance might even get better. This is something I would consider serious. If 74 of your coworkers simultaneously go above and beyond the call of duty, you could be the first one fired in the event of a reduction. On the other hand, employers should be held responsible for making sure their workers are treated fairly, paid fairly, and given credit for their work. Not everything is the employee's responsibility. That doesn't mean everyone receives a participation trophy for simply being up on time, but it does mean they're given a fair atmosphere in which to develop their own drive and are pushed to work more effectively rather than less. I'm confident that some businesses will blow their accounting expenses every single week, with the sole purpose of extracting as much value as humanly possible within reach, with little potential for useful advancement. Despite this, I still think a lot of people lack the motivation to persist because they are not passionate about their work, unhappy with what they're doing, or otherwise motivated. When I took that initiative, a whole new universe of options opened up to me, and I was ready to make that sacrifice in order to grow. If that's the case, and you don't already have millions of dollars in the bank, I believe you should make the most of your time working for someone else, striking a balance between doing what you enjoy and doing what will help you get to a happy place in your life. Setting limits on how much work you do and how much time you spend on other things is fine, but don't be surprised if someone else gets a promotion or a better opportunity. This should be taken into account to some extent. Employers, on the other hand, should not force employees to compete for raises that barely meet inflation. Furthermore, I'm sure it's discouraging to see someone who slacks off get paid the same as someone who goes above and beyond. Therefore, firms should establish an environment in which there are incentives along the way for people who want to push things as far as what you could do about this. Take advantage of this opportunity to stand out and make yourself important to the organization if you're the type who likes what they're doing, is self-motivated, and has a clear path for what they desire. It could also be a good time to look for a more personally fulfilling career or to create a better atmosphere for what you want out of life. And that's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy similar stuff, check out my other videos. And if you like it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. And I'll see you in the next video.